I'm going to talk gaming. Yeah. Oh, 8-Bit Eric's not a gaming channel anymore. Oh, no, I'm still gaming. I'll talk about what I want when the fuck I want. And today is when the fuck I want. So, Redfall. Redfall was a game that I was looking forward to. It's being touted as a banger. I thought the concept looked pretty cool. It's come out and it's being wrung through the mud. So much that I'm like legitimately worried for Xbox in the future of first party titles on there. We got Starfield coming up on the Xbox. If it doesn't do good, they're in trouble because Redfall basically got wrung through the mud. It's sitting at a very low ranking on Metacritic. As a matter of fact, I believe it was like at a 62 based on 18 critic reviews last time I looked. I normally don't really pay attention to critics because critics tend to hate stuff that I end up liking, but this game has been wrung through the mud, honestly. AAA game releases have been hit or miss lately. Let's be completely honest here. A lot more times it's been a miss with the number of broken and buggy games that are released over the past few months. Let's look at the track record here, guys. It's not been pretty at all. It's been quite ridiculous. Where did all the good game development go? Do people just put these games out, hope to get the initial sales, hope to get a patch or an update that fixes everything eventually? Broken games are common now. Like now when I play a game, I'm like, okay, I'm expecting it to be completely glitchy and bad at this point, and it shouldn't be that way. Let's look at it. Last of Us Remake had some problems. We had Jedi Survivor and now Redfall. And what's funny enough is the PC version of most of these games is even worse than the console version. Now, Redfall is Arcane's latest Xbox exclusive. Again, it was being touted as a huge killer app, and I was looking forward to it. Unfortunately, it's getting obliterated right now by critics, gamers, and the like. They're calling it one of the most broken games of the year. That's not a good thing, guys. That's not a good thing. So, again, like as I mentioned, it's sitting at a pretty low score on Metacritic. Some argue that critics can't be trusted, but it's worth noting that I think the embargo was only 12 hours before the release of this game, so they didn't really have too much of an early access notice to post their reviews or their first impressions and stuff. Like, it wasn't like they had it for a couple weeks. So they really didn't get to sit down and tear it apart like most of us gamers get to on launch day. Also, the user feedback that you're seeing on Twitter is bad. These people are like, this is like Cyberpunk bad almost when it comes to Redfall, which is very, very disappointing. Again, myself and many others, we're looking forward to this game. Now, one of the main complaints that you hear technical wise that's an issue with Redfall is the fact that it's different from a lot of the other games that Arcane made in the past, like Dishonored, for example. They're memorable for several good reasons. People enjoy them because of the way that, I guess, the mechanics and everything combined together. But with Redfall, it's just a mess, man. The shooting mechanics alone are garbage. Or as they would say in New York, garbage. Or is that Boston? I don't fucking know. But it just has a lot of rough edges around it. There's no polishing. It's, oh, God. Again, I feel like developers fall into this trap where they rush these games out and they hope that the initial, I guess, pre-orders and sales of the game are good enough to overcompensate for the lack of, I guess, tender love and care in development of these games. And then they patch it. And that's this day and age with modern gaming. Patches definitely get over relied on, even though some of them don't come out quick enough. Cyberpunk, as I mentioned earlier, it's just bad habits. Again, where's the development gone? Like, this game feels like it would have benefited from at least another 2 years of development, even though Xbox was in trouble already. Who knows if Xbox got involved? I don't think there's any confirmation on whether they played any part in releasing it now or, any say-so in a possible delay or anything of that nature. But the Xbox first party, window hadn't looked good, especially because other games had gotten delayed and pushed back, and it just kind of screwed everything up. Starfield is not coming out anytime soon. So everything that was present in this game that is poor performance is basically a letdown for Xbox fans that were hoping for something more. And I really am starting to enjoy Xbox as a whole with the whole Game Pass thing and all that. But is Game Pass what's causing the issue? Do people think, oh, the game's out on Game Pass, so it's going to be there and we don't have to polish it? Is that how the developers are going? Because I don't think so. Arcane should have pride in their work like they did previously with Prey and Dishonored and things like that. So what's the issue here? Is there something that we don't know about? Did Xbox force this hand on them? A lot of times these games that are in development hell and they're having poor performance things, they get rushed out anyway. And I feel that it's not good. Again, textures in this game look bad. It doesn't look polished. The character models don't look great. The game's overall performance and presentation is a little bit worrying, especially because Arcane, a studio like Arcane developed it. And then the gameplay loop is really repetitive with this, but that's to be expected, but after a while when you play certain games, it becomes monotonous. The repetitive gameplay just kind of sitting in a vegetative state if it's not performing well. I could forgive a game with repetitive gameplay like Call of Duty being on multiplayer team deathmatch or even playing like a Fortnite. I could forgive repetitive gameplay if the mechanics and the game itself are pretty well done. But the poor performance and technical problems of Redfall plague this game. All right. A game like Redfall was going to rely on its world building, its atmosphere, the whole vampire thing, but the performance of this game just overshadows it. Now, there are critics who are saying if it didn't have these technical aspects, it would be better, but I think at its core, this game is just not very good, unfortunately, especially with the lack of polish, the performance of the shooting again, performance issues. It makes it frustrating. And if a game's frustrating, why sit down and play it, right? I think that's what plays it. But then another thing that's been a talking point, which if you have Game Pass, you really don't have to worry about this, is the fact that the game is $70. I see this dropping, though. I see this dropping very quickly. Games that tend to have this negative reception, Battlefield 2042, Cyberpunk, they go down in price very quickly. So I would see Redfall dropping. But if you have Game Pass, this came out day one, so you really hadn't lost anything there other than being majorly let down with Arcane and Bethesda and Xbox as a whole. So this is just another example of a AAA game that had missed the mark completely, and unfortunately, this day and age, it seems like developers can't put out good products without relying on a patch. I think we definitely deserve better than buggy games, so what a letdown.